So our company's called Brightline Interactive. We started actually in this area in 2004. So we're just completing our 15th year in operation. We started doing military government contracts, so doing strategic communications, recruitment, and initiatives like this within the military and government. And it's always been about creating interactive technology experiences. So leveraging technology to create a connection between the communicating party and the user. I'm trying to generate a relationship between the consumer and the brand, essentially. We shifted over into the brand space around 2007, 2008, and started to get heavily involved in the commercial brand space, mostly in the sporting and entertainment industry. This is where sponsors are, and this is where sponsors want to communicate and create relationships with their customers and fans. And so we do things like touchscreen, gesture, sensor integration, augmented and virtual reality in order to accomplish these business goals. The technologies range, as I said, and we do things from software programming all the way into hardware integration and sensor integration into physical objects so that you can have a baseball bat that feels like you're holding onto a real baseball bat, but in the virtual space you're also holding onto a baseball bat. And so you can use a physical object inside the virtual space. We started to get involved in augmented and virtual reality in 2012. We did our first major brand project for Toyota, where we put sensors inside the steering column and in the gas and brake of the actual car, so that the user could sit inside the real car and they could put on Oculus Rift, and inside the virtual environment, they're also inside that same exact car, but they're driving that car in a cityscape. So they're using the physical car to control the car in the virtual world. That project was sort of a slingshot for us into the interactive virtual reality space. We got heavily involved into AR and VR as it relates to interactive virtual reality, which is where we're currently positioned now, executing that type of technology inside military and government again. By far the most rewarding part about our business, and this is not just for us running the business, I believe this to be true for everyone, from design to development, project management, and everything administrative, is even just the ability to basically be able to invent things from nothing. So we start with, sometimes we'll start with some sort of creative brief from the client. Or if it's a military government client, there's a specific task order, so there's a challenge that we're trying to solve. And then what we get to do is we get to sit down and have creative sessions. We have everyone groups together, and we all have our different areas of competency, that are different areas of expertise, and we put all of that together in the same space and come up with ideas that are going to best service the client's need. And so for us, some of the most rewarding parts about this is just to be able to invent, to be able to make things up, and then to also have the resources within our team to execute all of those inventions. And so what we actually end up delivering to the client are our own creative competencies, our own understanding of how it should look and how it should function inside those environments, and how the user should even feel after they finish the experience. A lot of what we do is elicit emotion out of an experience, and it's just really fun to be able to think up of ways to do that. One of our favorite charities, in fact, our chief creative technologist, Jason Powers, his wife, May, is a director at an organization called Miriam's Kitchen. And Miriam's Kitchen exists to end veteran and chronic homelessness inside the Washington, D.C. area. And so we've been heavily tied in with the nonprofit, both in serving in the kitchen in the mornings and in the evenings, doing street team outreach, doing marketing events and happy hours for fundraising purposes. And they also have a gala, Miriam's Kitchen Gala, every year. And last year, just the one this year, we were lucky enough to be on the host committee. And so we helped plan out the guest experience and helped with the technology and even helped backstage running the show. For us, Alexandria was a strategic decision by far. Like I said, when we first started, we started working inside the context of military and government, and this is a hub area for us to be able to do that. We love Washington, D.C., but we love Old Town Alexandria even more. For us, it's a quiet place to be able to invent, while at the same time having access to some of the best restaurants and bars in the area, which is great for our young staff. And so we really do love being here. We were previously, about 2.5 years ago, further up in northern Old Town. And when, even at that point, we had the ability to change our mind and to really move wherever we wanted to go. And we picked to be even closer to King Street.